It's not easy leaving the UK. That's what I want to talk about today. So here on my channel at A Spiritual Life, my channel here is about mindfulness for families. So I'm showing you the mindful approach and how I'm using mindfulness tools to deal with all what it entails to leave the UK. And you can find that on Living Our Best Life playlist. My husband has a channel as well, and he's doing the same. He's documenting his journey from his perspective, and that's called Britain to Beyond, so you can go and check him out. And that's the reason really why I wanted to talk about this today. I'm going to fill you in on an update on where we're at, and I'll do that at the end of this video. But the reason I really wanted to make this video is mostly on my husband's channel, really. He's got more subscribers than me, but he's getting a lot of comments about, close the door on your way out, and what you're whinging for, just do it, or stay and fight. All these kind of comments. Now, I'm a mindfulness teacher, so it's like we knock it on the chin. It doesn't matter. The reason why I want to make the video, it's not because I'm biting, they've put the bait and I'm biting. I'm not biting. I want to make this video because I'm a mindfulness teacher, because I don't think everybody understands what you go through to leave everything in your life and leave it. You've got a reason for doing it, of course you have, and you've got your choice for doing it, but it doesn't mean it's easy. And mindfulness, the definition of mindfulness is paying attention to the present moment without judgment. And that's what we should be doing every day in everything we do in our lives. And when you just see these comments and these judgments, as a mindfulness teacher, you can take a step back and say, well, they're obviously not in a happy place. Whether that's metaphorically or not. Are these people wanting to live that life? Are they jealous? Is that why they're putting these comments? And it doesn't really matter. But what I'm doing in this video is just to really show the other side of it, because when we judge others and things, it's because we don't understand. In one of my videos, one of my teaching videos, I give the story of a woman goes in the woods and sees a little puppy. It's trapped. She doesn't know it's trapped. So she sees this puppy. Oh, a little cute puppy, goes and strokes it, and it bites her. She's like, oh, vicious puppy, horrible. And then she sees it's trapped. And then she goes, oh, poor puppy, let me help you. And then it licks her and everything's great. And you can see how nice puppy, not so nice puppy, because she's understood the puppy and its situation. And that story stuck with me when I very first heard it, as a way to how we approach judgment and things and people. You can have an opinion. Excuse me. You can have an opinion, that's fine. But this judgment that we put onto people, and YouTube, social media space where people do that, I just see past it. They're obviously not in a good place if they're projecting really hurtful, harsh comments onto people. I'm all up for debate. I'm all up for discussion. Absolutely fine with that. But when you can tell there's like animosity and resentment and all this negative delusions, as the Buddhists would call it. So why isn't it easy to leave the UK? So emotionally, we have been on an emotional roller coaster. We started this in January. We're now in November of 2025. Check out those other videos for more. But basically, when you first decide this, you start the process of leaving everything behind. You're leaving who you were as a family, as an individual, your lifestyle, your routines. And that's before you start thinking about family and friends and possessions that you're leaving behind. So all that stuff has an attachment. And again, the Buddhist principles talk about attachment and how we should live more in non-attachment. I don't mean detached. I mean non-attached. So I learned that lesson quite early in my journey. So to go through the possessions and stuff wasn't that hard. And we've lost 3 out of 4 of our parents. So we don't have that hold so much. And we've only got a few close friends. It still doesn't make it any easier. But we were living a life that was now becoming uncomfortable. And that's when you change. So these people that are maybe putting all these horrible comments, maybe they're in a place where they want to change, but it's not uncomfortable enough yet for them. Well, we got to a place where it was uncomfortable enough. And when you lose a lot of people in your life, you say the phrase, life is short. I'm going to do a video on that. But when we say life is short, someone dies, someone gets a prognosis, do we really then live life like it's too short? Or do we think about it for a few minutes, moments, days, and then we go back to how we felt before? So when we say life is short, what are we doing about it? So when it becomes uncomfortable, when life becomes uncomfortable, we make the change. And you'd rather make the change and be uncomfortable in that place than be in the place that you were. And so that's an emotional roller coaster, getting to that point. And then for us, we lost our house sale in the summer. We went back on, sold straight away, and we're still waiting. And we have been in the dark for so long. Like, we don't even know what we're waiting for anymore. Like, you gotta laugh at it. We don't know what we're waiting for anymore. We're waiting for some money to be released for one of the persons that are coming into the house. That's all we know. They're not telling us when that's going to happen. And it is so frustrating. So you go from, the first half of the year when we were first selling, the excitement of it all, it was all rushed, it was all quite quickly, it all happened really quickly, it was a private sale, it all felt synchronistic and beautiful and wonderful, and it was all great and it's exciting, like get everything away, throw everything away, we'll decide what we're doing after that. And then when it crashed down, because again, no communication, so we pulled out and then we sold again straight away. So then you go from excitement to meh. Like, we've lived in this meh for like, now and again we'll talk, I'm excited about it now, are you? And like, meh, you go from this excitement to disappointment to mehness. And the disappointment, the frustration, all these emotions. And again, mindfulness, you allow it. You don't resist any of this, and you sit in it for as long as you need to, not too long really, and then you can help you get yourself out. But I'm moving on to that now, because physically, so that's emotionally. Physically, I've just been learning about the polyvagal theory, and I'll do a bit more on that as I learn more. But basically, we've all heard of the fight-flight response and the freeze. So that's what where we've been. We've been swinging from this stress, like really pushing, solicitors, push, this fight, all the time, to then we've done everything we can. And now I'm in freeze. So right now I'm in freeze mode. I feel numb. I feel like in the end it's the surrender. I surrender. And people ask us, have you had any news? And it's frustrating to turn around and say, no, we haven't. But we're in this freeze response, and I feel like I'm starting to come out of that myself physically, because for a number of weeks I've just felt so helpless. And it's a physical response. These are the stages in this polyvagal theory, in this ladder of getting up to the ventral vagal. That's right, isn't it? Yeah, ventral vagal, which is where you're socially, what do they call it? Social engagement, the way you're feeling light and expansive, and the place where you want to be. We don't stay there all the time. We can't stay there all the time. We go up and down this ladder. And about that as well, the social engagement, it's stopping us do that as well. Like, Christmas is coming. We don't know if we're going to be in the country or not. We should have been out a long time ago by now, we don't know if we can plan anything for the kids. We're just so up in the air with it all, and it's so frustrating. So even that alone is stopping us getting into that ventral part of the ladder. But I will do a bit more on that because I find it really interesting. And mentally, it's been taking up so many tabs in my head. As a mindfulness teacher, don't focus, don't dwell, be in the present moment. That's all well and good. And I do that, and I practice that as best as I can. But it's like there's a tab still open. It's still there. It doesn't matter how much you use your prefrontal cortex and you plan and you live in the moment. It's still there. It's still there in the background. So it's taken up a lot of mental capacity as is waiting for our daughter to have her NHS treatment. Now, before anyone jumps on and says, well, you won't get the NHS treatment when you're away, we've been waiting for 2 years for this. And we did try and do it privately. And as our daughter is neurodivergent, it didn't work. We spent a lot of money trying to do it and get it done before we got to the front of the waiting list. But it didn't work. She needs general anaesthetic. You don't do that privately. So we stayed on the waiting list. So now she's there Tuesday, next week. And that's one thing that will come away from this open tab in the back of my head, because that has been an ongoing thing as a family that we've been thinking about and worrying about. And obviously, if it didn't get done, it would have to go on as a pre-existing condition when we did our insurance, our travel insurance. And we don't want that, because then the premium goes up. So it's all very well, we will obviously budget when we're away for health insurance and things like that. But when you've been waiting for 2 years for the NHS to do it, we should be having it there, right? And we shouldn't be paying extra because it wasn't done in that 2 years. So I don't think we're doing wrong by having it and getting it done, because it'll have a knock-on effect after on private health care. Whereas if it was anything else, you go in, you don't have a pre-existing condition, something happens, you pay for it, fine, that's fine. I'm not, that doesn't bother me. That's the life we've chosen to live. We've chosen to move away from the NHS. But in our experience, let's put it that way, we're not really losing much. So that's it really. I just wanted to put this out there and say it's not easy to leave the UK. And where we're up to now, like I've already sort of mentioned, it's that waiting game. We are just waiting. So we will be as patient and allow for as long as we can. And hopefully we're out before Christmas, but who knows? So I just wanted to put this video out there to show people the other side of leaving the UK. It's not what it appears to be. You don't just one day think we're leaving and we go. Not everybody anyway. Some people get it like that, but we haven't. And just be mindful of the comment of why you're putting these comments on. I'm not saying this to not put them on. Like, if it's your choice, you put what comments you want, free world and all that. But it's something that's inside you that's making you do that. So my heart goes out to you. If you want to do that, that's fine. It means that there's something you're not happy inside yourself. So yes, it's not easy to leave the UK, but we will get there. We will follow our dream. We will live our best life. We're living it anyway because we're together as a family, but we will be doing it in the sun rather than this cold, wet, damp rain. All right, much love. Bye for now.